together of graphing standard form and vertex form as a warm-up, and then I'm going to show you, we already know how to convert vertex form by multiplying out using, FOIL, but how can we convert standard form into vertex form? I'm going to show you that today. It's going to be a bonus on your test next week. Some of you will be able to access it, and some of you will I don't even want to try, but all right, so tell me about standard form. The first thing to do is identify A, B, and C so that you don't make any mistakes. Right? This seems familiar from yesterday, right? And then your next step is going to be to tell me about A. So -2 tells me what about my parabola? It's concave down, and it's also going to be stretched by 2. Then I'm going to go to B. And how do I find the vertex? So the formula that you need is going to be, right, so -b over 2a finds the x value or the axis of symmetry. So -4 divided by 2 times -2. So what is -4 divided by 2 times -2? Yeah, so -4 divided by -4. Okay. So I'm at 1 comma something. So once I find the x value or the axis of symmetry, how do I find the y value? No, that's the y-intercept. You plug 1 in for all the x values in the original equation. So -2 times 1 would just be -2. And then I'm adding 4 times 1 is 4. And then I'm adding another 1 when I plug it in. So -2 plus 4 plus 1 looks like +3. So why don't you graph it the rest of the way? So 1, 3 is the vertex. You already told me that 1 is the y-intercept. And then you're going to graph it with a steepness of 2 upside down. So I'm plotting 1, 3. I'm plotting my y-intercept at 1. So that's my over 1 and down 2 because it's stretched. So normally I do 2, 4. So this time I want to do over 2 and down 8, right? Which would put me, oh shoot, that's the wrong spot. Over 2 down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I should have done that -5. That's the wrong point right there. So do you think you could find the vertex today? We're going to do some more practice, but if I told you -b over 2a, you could find the vertex and graph the parabola, hopefully. And then also be able to do one that's in vertex form, so knowing your transformation rules that we've been studying all unit. So this is your left or right, and this is your up or down. Remember, this is ABC, but this is HK. And K is not your y-intercept. So don't ever think that -8 is your y-intercept. All right, so does this go left or right, and does this go up or down? Left, 1. And then what about the -8? Down 8. Left 1, down 8 puts me right here. And then I need to think about that leading coefficient, that a value of 3. What's that going to do to this function? Concave up. Stretching times 3. So usually if I go over 1 and up 1, this time I have to go over 1 and up 3. It's 3 times as steep. So then normally I go over 2 and up 4. This time I want to go 4 times 3. So over 2 and up 12. So it's a lot steeper. Does that look like right? It should be a U-shaped graph. It shouldn't be like a straight line. It shouldn't be a like absolute value V shape. It should be a curve best you can, and it should go on forever. If I was going to identify the domain and range of this function, like you have to do next Tuesday on your test, what would be the domain? Any real number, and then what would be the range? y is greater than or equal to -8. So it sounds like that's starting to stick in your brain. So those are two of the questions that you have to do on the quiz at the end of class, a graphing in standard form and a graphing in vertex form. And I have some practice for you to do, but I just wanted to show this to you. So we were going to skip it, but I think that some of you can catch on to this pretty easily, and some of you might not be able to be, so it won't be assessed. It'll be more of a bonus, but I think you guys can do it. If you know how to graph in standard form, all we're doing is converting between these two equations. So we've already multiplied out vertex form using that box method or FOIL to get to standard form. This time we're just starting in standard form, and I just want to show you how to get to vertex form to go between the two. So step one, they just want you to identify A, B, and C again. So what would A be in this negative one, right? Because if it's negative x squared, then -1 is what comes in that spot. So A is just the coefficient. My other class kept saying that x squared was part of what A is. And so I was trying to emphasize to them that if you have blank x squared plus blank x plus c, this is always A and this is always B. So it's just what's inside that box that represents A and B. And if I go and do this, so if I do y equals 7x plus 9 minus 2x squared, and I switch the order around, what number is A in this problem? Right, so it moves with the x squared. So this is actually A, this is actually B, and this is actually C. So you can rearrange it so that it goes A, B, C. Does that kind of make sense? A always goes with x squared though, because it's the quadratic standard form. B in this problem, -6, right? And C is -11. All right, so it says the A value is going to be your A value in vertex form. So we already know what A is, right? Because in vertex form, you need to find what A is. So then the second step is we want to find the vertex of this parabola using -b over 2a. So it's just helping you practice find the vertex because we're trying to go to vertex form. So it makes sense that we need the vertex. So -b, +6, divided by 2a, 2 times -1. So what is 6 divided by -2? It is -3. Are you with me on that step? And then once I have the x value, I do what with it? Plug it back in. And this is a tricky one. It has a negative in front of it. So it has a negative, then x squared. So it's going to have a negative, and then x squared is -3 squared. So even though this becomes +9, this is going to make it a -9. And then -6 times -3, and then -11. So this might, you might want to use a calculator if you have one to check. So this gives you -9 plus 18 minus 11. So that would give me what? -2. I have a total of +9 here, minus 11. So -3, -2. So these are the two pieces of information you need to write a vertex form equation. So my vertex form equation is going to be y equals negative. How do I go left 3? What goes in the parentheses with x? So that my vertex is at -3. X plus 3, right? And then what do I put out here to show that my vertex is down to a -2? So this is the vertex form equation of this. And if you notice, the number -11 does not show up in vertex form, right? So the y-intercept, so you could just show -x squared minus 6x minus 11 is the same as -x plus 3 squared minus 2. I hope they graph right on top of each other. So there's the first one. And there's the second one. So we must have done it right because it graphed right on top of each other. So we know that those are the same exact graph. And then you try 3. And then I think that we will more examples of graphing in standard form. The back page is good. So you could do 4 and 5 and then the FOIL method on your own. All right, so here is what is our A value? 1, 10, and C is 35. So now I have to do my negative B over 2A to figure out what the vertex is. So negative 10 divided by 2 times 1. So negative 10 divided by positive 2 would be negative 5. And then I'm going to plug negative 5 in up here. It actually isn't as bad as it looks because negative 5, when you square it, gives you positive 25. And then 10 times negative 5 is just negative 50. So those are easy numbers to subtract. And then adding 35. So it gives you a total of how much for your y value? So what's 25 minus 50 plus 35? What would be 25 plus 35? Yeah, this is 60 together, right? I'm only subtracting 50. I think you guys distributed the negative to the 35 as well. But this gives me negative 25 plus 35 is positive 10. So once you have A and the vertex, it should be easy for you to write vertex form. Y equals 1 or y just equals x squared here. And what am I going to put in to go left 5? And what am I going to put in to go up 10? X plus 5 plus 10. So to me, practicing this helps you practice your transformation rules too. So I'd like you to try example 3 on your own. See if you can figure out the vertex and see if you can rewrite example 3 in vertex form. If you want to use a calculator on example 3, that's fine in case you have to plug in a bigger value. In my video, I'm going to write up here. So A is negative 3, B is negative 12, C is negative 12. Negative B over 2A, 12 divided by 2 times negative 3. Did you get negative 2 as your x value? Okay, so then you're working on plugging that back in. Negative 3 times negative 2 squared minus 12 times negative 2 minus 12. 3 times 4 plus 24 minus 12. Did it come out to 0? I think I get 0. So, okay, so we did it the same way. So there's my A value, there's my vertex, so y equals negative 3. So all I need to go is left 2. So it would just be x plus 2, and then I wouldn't write anything outside because I don't have to go up or down, right? I would do example 4 and 5 on the next page because those are both standard form graphing, which is the newest for us. And on example 4, your C value over here is just a plus 0, just so you know. And then I would try to do A, B, and C on the next page. So you've got 2 more standard form examples and then 3 FOIL examples. So some of you, that might be all that you get to. If you're ready for just a couple more practice while you're waiting, you would skip all the way ahead to page 316 because there's 2 more practice here, graphing in vertex form and graphing in standard form. So I'll put that up on the board, and in like 5 or 10 minutes, check in with you to see if you want the answers. All right. On number 4, did you guys remember to shrink everything by a half? So over 1 up a half, over 2 up 2, and over 3 up 4.5. Because that shrinking by a half, I think, is a little bit more challenging. But it does put you through the it does put you through the y-intercept of 0, 0. Wrong vertex, or oh, so you did like a more absolute value type graph? Over 2. Uh-huh. Are people just starting on example 5 now? Okay, I'm not going to put up example 5. 1, 0, and then over 1 up 1, so then that hits right at 1, over 2 up 4, over 3 up 9. Did we get the same thing for that one? So when you plug in 1, you get 1 here, minus 2 times 1 plus 1. So 1 minus 2 plus 1 is 0. Do you see where you, okay. So at least if you write your work down, you should be able to find where you went wrong. All right, so take the last couple minutes and see if you can multiply on the next page those 3 sets of 5. If you only do like 1 or 2 of them, check your answers on multiplying binomials.